No matter how you plan, kids always keep it interesting. And today we're talking about the most frequent challenges when traveling with kids, plus how you can avoid them. Welcome back to Earstravagant Adventures. I'm your host and travel agent bestie, Rachel, and joining me, as always, is Katie,
Hi.
everyone's
Hi.
favorite travel chaos coordinator. And today, again, we have Savannah. She's going to be joining us in a minute. She's our fellow travel agent and mom of three little ones under 6. We're diving into the unpredictable world of traveling with kids, the meltdowns, the surprises, the chaos, and of course, how to survive it all while still making magical memories. But first, a word from our sponsor. Hello and welcome to Allonsy Travel Vacation Destination Center. Our talented team cannot wait to send you on a vacation of fantasy and excitement to places where magic is just around the corner. We are passionate about making your Disney, Universal, or cruise vacation a reality and are here for you every step of the way. We will manage all aspects of your trip, including reservations, magical experiences, and to top it off, a custom itinerary made especially for you. Get in touch with us by visiting Allonsy-travel.com, Facebook, or Instagram to start your journey today. Make sure to like and follow for the most up-to-date information. Where will you go next? I'm sure you have all seen, or if you're not on TikTok, maybe you haven't, the viral mom who took her kids to Disney knowing full well they had the stomach virus. We all know how horrible the stomach virus is, and she took her entire family on a 6-hour plane ride. So we want to start here because going to Disney when you're aware of being sick is a huge topic of conversation right now. I feel like if you are violently ill, you should not even be getting on a plane because you're going to get so many other people sick. It's a huge rabbit hole. But you guys, talk to us. Have you ever encountered these kinds of issues going into your trip, in the middle of your trip? Talk to us. And how can we deal with getting sickness on a trip or before a trip?
Talk about kids today, but I have been the one that have gotten sick on the
Oh
trips.
man,
Like it
yeah.
has happened personally to me twice. I there are so many things that can happen when you're traveling with kids, especially when we're talking illnesses. They can get sick mid-trip, they can get sick before the trip. I've had two incidences myself where I've gotten a stomach virus 48 hours before we were supposed to check into Disney. We were driving, so we did decide to get in the car and see what happens. Um, but there's no need for that. Like I knew that if I got to that 24-hour before, or if anybody else in the family started having symptoms, I could call Disney and I could say, "Hey, I need to move this trip." And they are so accommodating with things like that. There may be a change fee, but still, it's better than you have spent all this time saving to go on this trip. You have spent all this time planning to go on this trip, which makes people say, we're going no matter what.
Mhm.
But is it worth it to go and have a miserable time?
Mhm. Exactly. How about
I,
you?
Yeah.
I feel like you have to know where to draw the line. And if
Mm,
you are vomiting violently, preparing to leave your house, then that's where you have to stop and say, okay, we can't do this.
Mhm.
But it's very hard. And I've experienced all of the above before, during, and after me and the kids. And it can be challenging, but we all know that with kids, especially kids who are in school, it's going to happen. It's inevitable.
Mhm.
And you just kind of have to be proactive and take it as it comes. But as far as having the stomach bug, and having I can't even imagine, I just can't imagine
I
being
can't imagine being on a
like that.
6-hour flight
No,
with
no.
diarrhea. Are you kidding?
no, that's
Well,
a nightmare.
and I was going to circle back to, the other time that I got sick in the middle of the trip. This was last summer, and I thought that I had a bladder infection. Come to find out it was a kidney stone. So I flew home with a kidney stone. I was with my child by myself. That was torture. And so as soon as I saw those videos, I was like, I can't imagine, because I just had to go tinkle every 5 minutes, y'all. But the other,
Yeah.
which leads to a very important point I want to bring up when we're talking about the sickness, because sometimes it is unavoidable. Sometimes it's going to start after you get there, especially with little grubby hands that like to touch everything in an airport.
Mhm.
There are urgent cares wherever you go. I have had to get my clients in contact with urgent cares frequently, not frequently, but I would say once or twice a year. Somebody needs urgent care. Um, Pharmacies. I had to find a pharmacy for myself for that bladder infection that delivered to the resort. They literally left my antibiotics while I was still at Magic Kingdom, tinkling every 5 minutes.
Well, and I think also we need to point out, like, that's what trip insurance is for. I think a lot of people think that trip insurance is just if you have to cancel, but a lot of these policies, and we always send the full policies for you guys to review for our clients, but a lot of them have medical coverage in there as well. So it's really good CYA. I'm a big proponent of CYA, but trip insurance is not just if you need to cancel last minute. It's for a lot of other things. And, we all know how medical care can be in different parts of the world. But
I've had a client whose child had a medical emergency in Orlando. They did not have trip insurance. They ended up having to have their appendix removed.
Oh my gosh.
And when I was on the phone with Disney, like chit chatting, trying to get their trip salvaged, they were like, "Do they have trip insurance?" And I was like, "No, they don't." And like, so they're out of network, out of pocket. And, Disney was like, if they would have gotten the trip insurance, it would have covered all of that. It would have covered all of that, which was very eye-opening to me, because I kind of had the same, outlook on trip insurance until that moment. And so I now have better conversations with my clients about why we might need that.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
So what do you guys bring with you? The best case scenario, right? Everybody's healthy on their trip, and we're just going to talk trips in general. We're not going to specifically say Disney or cruise, whatever. But what do you guys bring with you as a just in case? I know when I travel internationally, for sure, I always have Mucinex in my bag because I tend to get sinus infections anytime I travel internationally. So now my non-negotiable is Mucinex. But what do you guys bring? Because kids, grubby hands, they get sick all the
Yeah.
time. Katie's got
Yes.
her bag ready to go.
Yes.
I
I
have my
have
bag
something
ready.
similar. Yeah.
This stays in our travel, like we have a travel Tupperware tote, which has this stuff. So like we have a first aid kit. We have bug spray, we have chapstick. Down here we have all kinds of over-the-counter meds. We'll throw sunscreen and stuff like this right before we travel. But Benadryl, anything that I can think of that we might need in a moment's notice, especially for cruises. This is a lifesaver on cruises. And all inclusives, because you're in a whole other country with the all inclusive. Like you don't have access to get things quickly.
How about you, Savannah?
Definitely. So I have something very similar to what Katie has, that hanging little over travel bag. But then I also, if we're going into the parks, I like to have just a little sick kit, I call it. But we always have to have, Tylenol, Motrin, whatever the kids use. And then I have to always bring an allergy medicine for my oldest, because she has some wild allergic reactions to all kinds of stuff, environmental, pet dander, just the most random thing. So I never know when that's about to happen. So I'm always bringing allergy medication with us. And then, the typical Band-Aids, Neosporin, that kind of stuff. But always have, and it's so much better to just pack it before you leave so that you're not paying triple the price, even if you just dump out a couple of the pills or whatever you need to have with you. That's an absolute must for us.
Yeah, so everybody will know their own family's best, right? But some of the staples is ibuprofen, whatever's in Tylenol, because there's a generic of Tylenol, allergy medicine, Pepto-Bismol, Okay.
Pepto. That's a big one.
My husband
Those are big
calls.
ones. And then Band-Aids. Those are like always. And then the rest, like Katie and Savannah said, they have their own unique things for their family because y'all know your family best and y'all know the kinds of sicknesses and things that work best for your family. But I want to circle back to something Katie said about the pharmacy and the urgent care. So, like I said, we're talking about more than just Disney, but most cities, right? Any major city you're in will have some kind of pharmacy. The thing is, if you're in another country, they don't have the same medications that we do here.
Mhm.
So if you're going to another country, like I said with the Mucinex, maybe bring a little bit more because they just don't have the same stuff. But if you're traveling domestically, it should be easy enough to find what you need. CVS, Walgreens, they're everywhere. Instacart delivery services, like Savannah said, you'll pay extra for them, but they are readily available. So don't forget, like you're not unless you're going to Mexico or the Caribbean, like you're not on an island. But there you are.
Right.
Well, even if you're at an all-inclusive, the resort gift shop, if you're at a good resort, is going to have some of the basics for, over-the-counter medicine. It's going to be really expensive. And when we're talking about travel with kids specifically, a lot of my clients don't like to leave the resort with their kids because they are in foreign countries, so things to think of.
Mm-hmm. With you
Now,
on that one.
let's switch gears because sickness is like the least favorite thing everyone wants to talk about. It
Mhm.
is like the most common, but let's move on to meltdowns and overstimulation. You guys have a nice range of kids, so I'd
Mhm.
like to hear how you guys handle all of that.
Yeah.
Meltdowns. Let's start with meltdowns. Savannah, you most recently went with young ones. So how do you handle your meltdowns and overstimulations?
Yes. So meltdowns, I'll take it from youngest and move my way on up. So recently with the baby, she was super super tiny. So meltdowns really just meant that she was hungry and needed to take a nap. So the stroller, thank goodness, worked for us. So I just packed everything that I thought that I would need for the park day so that I could avoid having to leave the parks. But when I knew that she was ending her wake periods and things were starting to get hectic, I would just tag team with my husband and let him take the big girls to do what they had to do. And I would either go to a baby care center, change her, push her around in the stroller, find a quiet ish area, which can be hard to do in the theme parks, but you got to do what you got to do, give her the bottle and try and get her to sleep. Now, as they get older, it gets harder. I think that
Mhm.
this past trip was actually going to be easier than the next couple trips in my future. And I can remember taking my middle child as an 18-month-old. And that was probably the most hectic period because at 18 months, they're just so unpredictable and you don't know when you're going to have those magical moments and when they're going to just turn into absolute meltdowns. So I like to be a minimalist, but also pack everything that I need. So I might get heat for this one, but I did bring her iPad and headphones just because I didn't want to have to leave the parks just because she couldn't handle it. So there were times when I would just pull the canopy down and plug in the iPad and let her decompress in there. But you can also bring, crowns. You don't have to do screen, but I knew that the screen would work for us in that case. And then just as they get older and they can actually communicate with you, just be like, do you want to leave? Do we need to leave? Do you want to go walk around outside? I feel like the
Mhm.
stimulation in the parks is the number one thing that kids don't even realize is a trigger. So just communicate with them when you can, and when you can't, just let your mom instincts kick in and try and make them feel like something comforting that brings them back to home, whether it's an iPad, sitting down with them, giving them a bubble wand in the courtyard, snacks. Snacks can fix almost anything
Yes.
for
Same for
anybody
adults,
Yes, they
though.
anymore.
can.
Yeah. So that's where we're at with meltdowns for now. But Katie, I know yours are a little bit older than mine, so
Mine are older, and they also started going to the parks older. My youngest was 3 or 4 the first time we went. I can't remember. Sorry. They're old now. Um, the biggest thing that I do that I think sets us up for success all the time is explaining to them what we are doing. And I actually made a mistake last time I took my daughter, we were by ourselves, and I did not sit down and say, okay, we are going to wake up at this time. We are going to go to this ride first. We are going to do this, and then we're going to stop for breakfast. Um, and so like we just rope dropped Epcot, and I'm just like pulling her along because I'm like, we gotta go, we gotta go. And she just shut down completely on me. And I was like, oh crap. I forgot my basic number one rule because I'm like, oh, they go to Disney all the time. I don't have to do this with them anymore. And so like we sat looking out at, World Showcase Lagoon, and I'm like, okay, this is what we're doing. If we can get these two rides done, then we're going to have a long breakfast with Minnie Mouse, And so that's really the frequent breaks. And when you sit down to break, you kind of regroup. It makes them feel like they have control of what's going on because sometimes Disney is just go, go, go. And when you're little and you see everything that you want to do and you don't know why mom and dad are pulling you or by the hand so fast or they're pushing you in the stroller so fast and you don't know what's going on. So it gives them a little bit more control. They're not in control. I'm making all decisions, but
It's the illusion of control.
it's the illusion of control. And yeah. And like Savannah said, a snack will fix anything. If you can see that meltdown coming on, it's fine to stop what you're doing, sit, people watch, and eat a snack.
Well, I
Yeah.
think that's a great lead into to managing expectations. I think you just talked about managing expectations for the kids, like talking to them, but I think it's
Mhm.
also super important to also as a parent manage expectations. So how do you guys like mentally manage expectations so that way, when these meltdowns do happen, you aren't like, I mean, we all are going to get frustrated, right? When kids are having their meltdowns, like it is a frustrating thing, but being instead of it being a 10 frustration, it's now like a 4 frustration. How do you guys prepare yourselves for that?
So I know
Okay.
going
Well, I mean,
going
like breaks,
into
downtime, things like that. Like I'm sure you have a conversation with yourself of like,
yeah,
Savannah, I've got a baby. I know I'm gonna have to
Mhm.
take breaks.
right.
Like, what do you do to mentally prepare yourself?
Sure. In this season of life, I have to go into whatever it is, even if it's just going food shopping, that the unexpected is part of
Mhm.
my life. It's part of the trip. I can have a beautiful park plan and strategy, but I have to know that I have to be able to pivot and be okay with it and
Mhm.
just take the moments as they come. And even though you always want to be able to check off everything on your list, you have to remember that sometimes those moments that you didn't plan for can be the most magical and it can be like the memories that make all the difference. But for me, I have to just go in with my plan and know that my plan can be interrupted and expect the unexpected.
Pivot,
Yes.
pivot,
Pivot.
pivot,
Pivot.
pivot.
It's a hard truth. I'm
Yeah.
not to my core, I'm not good with pivoting, but I have adjusted, especially in Disney. You
Mhm.
need to be able to pivot.
Mhm. Katie's the same for
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, and like I said, when things go not the way they're supposed to, getting the kids' input, which if you have toddlers, that might be a little bit harder. You can't sit them down and say, "What do you want to go do?" Because they don't know what there is to do. But sometimes you can be like, "Is there something you want to go do again?" And you might be able to redirect them that way.
I mean, it's funny
But
you're saying this. I'm like, oh, man, me and my husband do this all the time. Sometimes I'm so overstimulated. I'm like, I don't know what I need.
I don't
He's
know.
like,
I
Yeah,
don't know. I need something.
like,
Yeah.
these tools work for adults too, guys.
definitely.
Yeah, they do. They do. But I've always been big with giving my children a voice in the park planning. It's kind of like I do with my clients. Like, what is important to you? Okay, well, we're going to hold that for later because that doesn't need to be a priority, and kind of like I let them lead the trip a lot with me, making sure it's proper. Like we're not going to
Mhm.
rope drop Dumbo or something like that. But it
Me? What
helps.
if what if that's like my number one thing? I want to rope drop Dumbo. Gosh, Katie.
You're not going to get to with me. I mean, you can do it by yourself, but you're not going to do it with me.
So, what
So,
are we have age ranges, right? So what are, Savannah, you already said one of them. What are the comfort things that you always try to bring so that way when a meltdown does happen, you've got those backups? Like I know some people bring stuffies. Savannah, you said
Mhm.
the iPad. Like there's no shame in dealing with your kids the way that works best. So what
Mhm.
anything else besides like the iPad or favorite snacks that you guys think are helpful?
Blankets.
iPad, I hate that I'm the iPad mom, but that there is a, like I said, there is an age range where the iPad can fix things. I think if they have their favorite stuffy, my 4 year, she's going to be my almost 5-year-old now, who um, was the iPad kid. She likes stuffies, so she can bring her stuffies, and that works for her. My oldest, she's a snack girl, so I just make sure she has like her favorite snacks from home. I always pack when I'm packing from home. I bring snacks so that they can have things that they're used to, and um, yeah, I feel like snacks really fix a lot at any age range, but the stuffies are another good one. Or I know some kids like little blankies, things
Yeah.
like that. Just really whatever's small enough and able to come with you on your trip, I will bring whatever that might be.
Katie, do you have anything different
Bottle.
to add?
I have nothing to add to that, except for one other thing: distraction. Distraction is a wonderful, wonderful tool to use on any trip. If we're having a meltdown because there's something we can't do, something, and I'm not saying like throw money at it, like throw souvenirs at it, but like, and I'm going to talk to this, I think, later on, but we have created so many family games that we do, and we will play them in lines. We will do things like that. So
Mhm.
distract them,
Yeah.
reroute it.
Well, how do you guys deal with being off schedule? I know jet lag is a whole nother thing, and I don't know if you guys have a ton of experience with jet lag, but I know just even if you're in the same time zone, going from being at home to being on vacation is going to mess up routines and schedules. How do y'all manage that and work through that?
I like to make our wake up, no matter where we are, as easy as possible, which comes with really, really good packing skills. When my kids were teeny tiny, like Savannah's age, I packed all of their outfits in plastic bags. And I know Savannah does that too. And they would be labeled like what day of the trip it is, what kid it is, and they're all like set out ready to go. Making that morning as easy as it can be because the kids are not used to waking up that early. They even for school, it's like a whole different wake up vibe. Um, so that's something that I'm a big fan of. I don't know what the word is.
I know
Savannah, how
I
about
get
you?
what you're saying. So just
Yeah.
basically, depending on what the time is, I won't wake them up until the very last minute. So when we just went in May, my 4-year-old was just absolutely exhausted, like to the point where I'm like, poking at her and I'm like, we're gonna go to Magic
Mhm.
Kingdom. You want to wake up? And she was just not with it. So I'm like, okay,
Mhm.
I'm going to keep packing the stroller, make sure she has something to eat as soon as she does get up. My kids will eat oatmeal, so I bring little instant oatmeal packets and I'll get them the hot
Mhm.
water and get that ready to go so they can eat. But just kind of reading the room, like if they're so tired, we can push the plans back a little bit as long as we don't have a lightning lane or anything like that we're
Yeah.
heading towards. So really just adjusting and seeing how tired they are and getting prepped completely before I wake them up, because prepping a stroller can be a 30-minute ordeal, making sure the waters are filled. I'll do all that stuff before I wake them up, and then I just wait until the very last minute to force them up if I have to force them up. I don't like forcing them up, but sometimes they're
Gotta
they're
do what you
just
gotta do.
tired.
Yeah, and that's very similar. My husband and I, we will both have our coffee. Back in the day of Genie Plus, I was getting the lightning
Yeah.
lanes. He was
Mhm.
packing the stroller, and like I said, the clothes were laid out, everything. So when you finally got to waking them up, you're like, "Hey, baby, if you want to ride
Mhm.
Slinky Dog, you better go put them clothes on."
Yeah. Yeah. Literally, like just pick them up, put them in the stroller, hand them something to eat, and
Yeah, hand them
we're
a
off.
granola bar, and
Man, that's the
you're out.
life. Can we go
I
back to
know.
being kids? Like put me in the
Right.
stroller, put a snack in my hand.
Yeah, I know.
I
They
think
gotta
you're
be.
scooter age now. You're not stroller age. We'll
Rude.
get you a
I'm not
scooter.
scooter age. How rude of you. I will claim scooters when I'm
Um,
old enough. I am not there yet. I'm not geriatric.
Also, keeping them on this schedule as much as possible. If they take a nap every day at 2 o'clock at home, they're going to take a nap at 2 o'clock on that trip. You know, like plan for it. Don't think, oh, my kid can push through 4 days of just go, go, go when they're used to having, you know, a early night, a nap time, all of that stuff. You need to keep that as routine as possible. If you are used to eating dinner at 5:30 at home, make your dinner reservations for 5:30 on your vacation.
Hmm.
Speaking of food, we all know how picky kids can be, and I feel like Disney destinations have a great plethora of food for kids. Like I feel like you can find chicken tenders and mac and cheese at every
Mhm.
restaurant. But how do you guys deal with picky eaters? I know we're talking about multiple destinations, but I feel like I already know what y'all are gonna say, but maybe not everybody does. So like super picky eaters, how do you guys prep for trips with that in mind?
So I look at menus even at home in advance always. I don't like to go to restaurants unless I have seen the menu. I don't like those kind of surprises in
Same.
life at this point.
Mhm.
I know what my kids are going to like to eat, so I'm going to stay away from any restaurants where I don't think they can get anything that they like.
Mhm.
And then also, like I said, I'm always packing the snacks from home.
Mhm.
And fortunately, most of the restaurants we've ever gone to at Disney, we can get the staples, chicken
Mhm.
fingers, fries, mac and cheese, pizza, hot dog, maybe.
Butter pasta, that's another one I
Butter
know.
pasta, always. A meatball.
Katie, how
That's
about
I
you?
have
that's our
I have
menu.
one picky eater and I have one adventurous eater.
Ugh,
Um,
that's
I
tough.
might
Balancing
well,
that is
I
tough.
don't let the picky eater dictate what we're gonna do. I'm sorry, we are foodies. We all like to enjoy new restaurants, and so she eats chicken strips and mac and cheese. Like you said, most places um, we can have those. If there is a place that we can't, I will generally get her whatever I can get her, and then we will go stop at a quick service later. Or we will go to a quick service before because I'm not going to. I mean, I could be a mean mom. I might be being a
No,
mean
I
mom
think
right
that's
now.
also the difference between the ages, right? Because when you have young kids, you
Mhm.
you could, but I just feel like that's going to
Well,
instigate a meltdown. You're in a restaurant
let,
and they
let me
can't get
just
what they want.
let me rant about this for a second. Okay. So one time we're going and we have dinner at Ohana and we have not eaten at Ohana before. And we are so excited to go eat at Ohana. And we come in and my kids eat Asian food. Like that's their thing. Like they love noodles. They love everything on the menu, the
Hmm.
dumplings, everything. So it's a very safe choice for us. We come in and we're talking to our waiter, and he's like, chicken strips and mac and cheese for the kids. And of course, my kids are like, sign us up, brother. That's what we want. And I'm just sitting there going, I did not come in here for y'all to not eat these Ohana noodles. I did not get this reservation. And this was also when I had that stomach virus. So, like,
He
I'm
clocked your
recovering.
kids and it's like, yep, y'all
My,
are mac and cheese
Yep.
kids.
and I'm like, but they're get cheese kids. But anyway, we're redoing this trip, and there will not be one chicken strip on that table. You are going to eat Ohana.
You
That being
targeted them.
also, I think not everywhere does well with this, but allergies and dietary requirements, Disney across the board does a great job at that. Now, like we talked about online, they have all their menus online. In addition, they have the allergy information further down. Now, always talk to your server or the person taking your order if you have allergies, especially if they're extreme allergies and you'll have like an immediate reaction. Please talk to the server and they do their absolute best to accommodate you. But I feel like, and vegetarian too, I have a lot of vegetarian clients. Like Disney is doing a lot, has expanded their plant based menus. So that's one of the places I feel confident in sending all kinds of people. Now, other destinations, like if you go to France, you can't change things on the menu. They don't care that you have allergies or dietary requirements. They don't care that you're gluten free. Just you get what you get, and what is
Don't throw a fit.
thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So like in other places that this is a lot harder, but in Disney destinations, I don't stress as much. Will have a little bit more of a limited menu if you are vegetarian or vegan, but you'll still have options, which I think
Mhm.
is great. And kids like mac and cheese everywhere, French fries everywhere. I'm not worried about it. And thank you for the digital age. Like the biggest thing to come out of the digital age is online menus. I in
Yes.
life will not go somewhere if I can't see the menu
Mm-mm.
first. So
Yeah.
Mm-mm. No, I
feel
need to see
free.
that menu. Also, I feel like we have touched on this, but we haven't outright said it. One of the most frequently asked questions I get on TikTok when I'm live is, can you bring outside food into the
Mm.
parks? You can bring your own food into the parks. You can even bring a soft shell cooler as long as it doesn't have loose ice. So if you've got a kid that only eats peanut butter and jelly, bring that peanut butter and jelly sandwich in, give it to them, and y'all go eat what you want.
Yeah, that's a great point because we've
Absolutely.
said many times that we bring snacks, but like
Yeah.
yes, to outright say you can bring
Right.
your own as long as it's not in glass container. And
Mhm.
please
Oh,
don't
yeah,
bring
the
alcohol
glass.
into the parks. Like don't, don't, don't. Okay? Now, we've said a couple times that you guys have more than one kid in your household. So let's talk about sibling dynamics. I'm a sibling. I think you guys both are siblings. Your kids are
Yes.
siblings. We all know that siblings love nothing more than to instigate and irritate each other. Maybe not when they're
Mhm.
little babies, but when they're Katie's kids' age.
No, it starts at birth. Like I have videos of them pestering each other at like toddler and infant. Like
So tell us
it's
how you deal with those sibling dynamics.
number
Savannah.
one. Oh, Savannah, go first. All right.
All right. So we experienced this a lot on the last trip because my middle child was just a smidge shy of 40 inches. So she missed out and I felt terrible for
Poor
her
baby.
on so many things.
Mhm.
So just tag teaming with my husband again, making her feel like she got to do something special while I was taking my oldest on the rides. The biggest challenge with them and moving forward, I have to rethink if I'm going to be the family that has two strollers. My 6 year old didn't have the stroller because I had the little, the baby and then my middle. So they fought literally every 10 minutes for who was going to get the seat in the stroller. And it was not fun at all. And I probably would have brought a single stroller if I would have known. I just thought my 6 year old was ready. I thought she might be ready, but she wasn't. So that was a challenge, but really just making them feel like they get to do something special, communicating with them. What do you want to do? Would you rather get a snack right now or go get in line to meet Mickey? Letting them decide, making them feel like they're in control, like we said earlier. So for me, just making them feel like they have their own little moments, getting to do things on their own, like taking one of them to Sir Mickey's to get pixie dusted while my oldest is on a bigger ride that she couldn't do.
Katie, how about your kids? Because since they're a little older,
Um,
I feel like their fights are a little bit bigger.
their fights are bigger, and we also have genders. So we have a boy and a girl. And it was for a long time that the boy pestered the girl. It's now the opposite because she is like a 9-year-old little sassy and she wants to bother her big brother all the time. This is gonna sound weird, but I don't let them sleep in the same bed. And this was when now they're too old to sleep in the same bed. But even when they were little, like when they were like 6 and 4, no, because if I would have put them in the same bed, I would have heard fighting
Stop
all
touching me.
night.
Stop touching
Stop
me. Stop
touching me. It
touching
was bad
me.
enough when they were in the stroller together. Like, but so we plan on mom sleeps with one kid in one bed, dad sleeps with the other kid in the other bed. A lot of what Savannah said, they're so different. They're not going to want to do the same things, but it's so easy to just say, okay, me and AJ are going to go do this while dad and JP goes and does that. And just divide them up and make sure that they each get like special, like that they feel special on the trip. Car fights car fights have started. Car fights weren't a thing. They're now a thing. Yeah, I'll report back on how the drive goes in 3 weeks.
Yeah, it'll be
That's
interesting to see when they hit the hump of like, and we're friends now, because my brother and I, we're really close in age. We're 2 years apart, and it was like I fought with him until college, and we still like kind of not like the same, but like we still kind of fight as like grown adults. But
Mhm.
man,
They rapid cycle right now. Like if I'm looking at them, they're fighting. If I go to my room and I'm like doing something, I come out, they're on the couch cuddling. They rapid cycle so fast right now.
Yeah.
It's so hard.
whiplash.
Katie, you might have to invest. I saw on Shark Tank an invention that was like a pop-up divider for car rides, literally for the siblings arguing for long car rides. And it's like a divider and you put it up when needed.
I love that idea. Or that like the airplane too, like make a little
Yeah.
like
Uh-huh.
Ooh.
yeah. Well, sibling rivalry doesn't end with just picking on each other. How many fights do you have with technology? Because look, who's gonna have the iPad? Who's gonna have the coloring book? Who's gonna be in charge of the games? How do you deal with that? But also, do you use technology? Talk to us about technology and entertainment.
I'm not an iPad mom like Savannah is. A little bit. I'm not trying to call you out, Savannah, because I think that there's a time and a place for all of it. And if that works for your family, that's what works for your family.
Right.
But we do not, we're drivers, right? So most of the time we're driving, depending on where we're going. And if I don't have those devices, it's awful. Like it's a must do for the car. And I think when we talked about Punta Cana, remember how there was no TVs on that flight? And I was thinking, oh, they're big now. I don't need to bring these, iPads with us. Like they'll be fine. They can watch TV on the plane like they have been. Well, there was no TVs on that plane. And I had no devices and it was awful. Um, yeah, make sure you have your devices. Like if your kid is used to having that in the car, having that on the plane, having it during the day, they're going to want it no matter where you are. Um, Make sure that you have tons of chargers because
Yes.
if one kid's iPad is charged and the other one's not, that's a recipe for disaster right there.
Yeah.
Mhm. We also do a lot of non-technology things. When they were little, we had coloring books, we had travel size games for the car. Um, First time we ever drove to Disney, we created a whole game and we still play it to this day. And it's called Disney Who Am I? And you have to come up with 3 clues to whatever character you're talking about. And it's got to like for my son and for me and my husband, like they're kind of obscure. Like you're trying for the person not to guess them. But for my daughter, it's always been like, I'm a princess. I like books.
Mhm.
I live in a castle. Who am I? And you'd be like, Belle, you're Belle. And literally, we have been playing this game now for years. And we will still do it here in town. Like, we're just riding, I'm like, you want to play Who Am I? And we'll play Who Am I? And we play it in line and all kinds of stuff. So,
Well, I think for the flight or the drive, like I think it's really important to keep because kids don't really know like the passage of time, right? And if they're not entertained, then are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? I'm bored. I'm bored. Like then it's just nonstop. So I think like any kind of entertainment on a flight or on a long car ride is imperative, right? Savannah, I think each one of your kids has an iPad on the planes because you always fly. So how do you handle keeping the kids distracted while you're flying?
Well, I have all girls, so 2 of everything identical, or else it doesn't matter if it's the same thing in a different color. That will be a meltdown. Like Christmas morning, we did Disney Princess pink bike and Frozen Anna and Elsa blue bike. Should have just gotten the same ones.
Oh no.
So for my kids, I have to get everything the same. But they love to color, so I like to get them those water mess-free watercolor books.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
fill the little pens with the water and then it kind of like magically the color comes to life. We use those. And then I also get them regular coloring books and crowns. I get the triangular crowns so that they don't roll off of the little
That's
trays.
smart. That's
Also
smart.
on the tables. Yes, I spent too many times on my hands and knees under restaurant tables. So now we get the triangular ones so they don't roll away. And then for the airplane, always the iPad, make sure it's charged. I get them to plug in headphones, like no Wi-Fi ones, just the basic old school. Plug them, they have them. And then in the parks, I have to say, we don't bring the iPads in the parks anymore. We did, but not anymore. So we just do the basics, little like 5 colors of crayons for each of them, a small coloring book, and then those magic water coloring books. And they're usually okay with that. So that works at this stage of 4 and 6.
One trip, we had an autograph book and it became a sticker book because a lot of people don't know that cast members all throughout the parks will just have stickers. And like, you can go up to a cast member and be like, do you have any stickers? And they will give you stickers. And so like that was really, I don't remember how old they were on that trip, but like that, it was almost like pin trading for them. They're like, oh, can we go see if there's a sticker at this store that we can put in our book? And I'm like, yeah, let's go. And they really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Well, and Savannah, you said something that I want to circle back to about the headphones and not Wi-Fi stuff. So I'll always have headphones that have the regular headphone jack because some planes do have the in-flight entertainment and it needs a jack. Some planes have Bluetooth capabilities, but like I get irritated when I can't figure out the Bluetooth like instantly. So I would rather just be able to plug in. So plug in headphones are key. But also, you guys both talked about iPads on the plane. Download stuff because
Yes.
I'm not paying for plane Wi-Fi. So
No.
download more than you need. If it's a 2-hour flight, me personally, I'm downloading 2 movies and 2 TV shows because maybe I don't want to watch this anymore when I'm in the air, so I can switch. Options.
And that's for the car too, because like I don't have a Wi-Fi car.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
Right.
it's hooked up for Wi-Fi, but it's like I'd have to pay for that for a month. I don't need that. So like yeah, so before we leave for a big trip, I'm like, have you downloaded any new movies? Do you have new games? Like let's go in and clear some of that stuff out so you have something
Yes.
new to watch.
Yeah, make sure anything can be done offline, like in games too. Thank you. Because if you can't do it offline and you brought the iPad, then like what was the point if you can't even
Right.
use it when you're in the air or in the car? Yeah. So
Yeah.
as you guys can see, we have lots of experience dealing with unexpected issues. So how about you guys? Because I mean, we can all talk about this, but why is it important to work with a travel agent when you have kids? What are some like top reasons? I feel like we covered a couple of them, but let's just specifically call out how working with a travel agent is going to benefit you.
Well, hand-picked resorts. If you've got a picky eater, you might need to be at a value resort for that food court versus a deluxe resort. If you've got a kid that gets very overstimulated and we don't think we're going to do well at on the bus, we keep going back to Disney, and I'm trying to make it generalized, and we just keep falling back into it.
I know, but the other ones are like easier. It's just Disney is
Yeah,
Yeah.
complex, and I just feel like it needs more logistics, and that's why
it,
we're here.
So we're going to look at those resorts that have transportation options that are not buses. Maybe, you're a family that needs to walk, you're a family that needs to be very active. We're going to look at resorts that you can walk to certain parks to, and just all the time people are like, we went to Disney and we hated our resort. Well, because you just picked whatever. You just went to the website, you
Right.
just picked whatever, and it did not work for what you needed, what your kids needed, what your family needed.
Mm-hmm. And Savannah, I think you've dealt with this a lot this summer is the itineraries, figuring out because we all have all kinds of different clients with all kinds of different needs. So talk to us about how you build your itineraries for your clients because you've talked about managing expectations and not having the perfect day. So what does that look like for your clients' itineraries?
Right. So I think that just to touch on why to work with a travel agent to begin with, it's number one, it's because we've been there and done it. We know. So picking the resort number one, like Katie said, we know the different qualities that each resort is going to bring to your family. So right off the bat, I want you to be in a resort that's going to be best for your situation. If you have a bunch of kids, making sure that you're aware if you're at All-Star Movies, you're taking the bus to get anywhere. And that can be super hectic if you have a double stroller, a loaded up stroller, kids who are sleeping, all that. But really just moving into your park plan and your itinerary, are you, number one, are you going to get yourself lightning lanes? Are you going to do multi-pass, premier pass? Figuring that out first. And then from there, I want to know more about you and your kids so that I can help you figure out which attractions you should be prioritizing, making sure that clients know how magical it is to have meet and greets with characters, because I feel like that can be something that's overlooked, especially for first timers. Your kids are going to love having that experience, meeting characters almost as much, or if not more, than the rides themselves. So just kind of going over the basics with you, especially if it's your first trip to Disney, knowing that you can bring your snacks in, knowing that you can bring drinks in, making sure you're fully prepared so that when the meltdowns do happen, you can recoup instead of having to go back to your resort and completely throw off the whole day.
I think something else that we all do
overloading.
Is also, is also having conversations of like, I've had some clients that are like, I want to sit down breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And that's when we say like, I love that for you. I don't think that's realistic. You're going to take most of your park day to do this. So maybe let's find other ways to do that. Or I want to have breakfast at 8 a.m. Okay, well, that's prime rope dropping time. So how about we just shift your breakfast back a little bit so that way you can take advantage of lower wait times and still have breakfast, because I know your kids are going to have a meltdown. Things like that to help optimize your day. Or they tell you, like, I only want to do 4 things in a day. So then you say, okay, well, maybe lightning lane isn't something that you need, because if you only want to do 4 things in a day, you have all day to do those things. Here's what I would recommend, and all that. So having our expertise to say, yes, that's realistic. Knowing your family, I don't think that's realistic. Maybe let's tweak a couple things, like, because we're not a Facebook group. We are going to listen to you. And I have never had a one trip be the same, and I've been planning vacations for 10 years. Every single family is different, and no one gets the same advice from me, because it's all tailored to each person and how they like to vacation. Yeah,
exactly. And I think also, going off of what you just said, you should never be comparing your trip to somebody else's, because everybody's desires are going to be different. Your park day will look different. Break times are going to be at different hours. So you don't ever want to compare your trip, to your neighbor's cousins and do everything that they did. It's not going to work. You have to have your own custom plan for your family, and also just don't be hyper focused on perfection, which is, as a planner, you want your clients to have the great, an overall idea of what the park day could be like, but like we've said plenty of times, be able to pivot and be able to be okay with letting go of certain things if it's gonna be a better outcome for the rest of your night.
Exactly. And I think another thing that we add is, Katie kind of alluded to it. Like, if you've never been to Disney before, you might not know what a rider switch is. You might not know how to navigate stroller rentals. But the other big thing is you might not know where to go if your kid is having a meltdown and they just need 5 minutes of peace and quiet, and you're not going to leave the park. So Katie, talked to us about how you help your clients with those things.
So, I believe in my itineraries, I do have like a little traveling with small children thing in there. It's got the info for rider swap. It's got the info for little areas throughout the different parks where you can be completely by yourself or take like a long break. Like my husband calls the American Adventure like our nap. That's our Epcot nap.
I mean, that show is like 30 minutes long in the dark AC.
Like he already asked for our trip in 3 weeks. He's like, am I going to get to take my nap in the America Pavilion? And I'm like, I'm sure you are, honey. I'm sure you're going to get your nap. Because sometimes also you have to treat your husband like you treat the children. Just FYI, pro tip. Um, so yeah, I forgot what I was saying.
Well, so yeah, we
Yes,
help you.
God.
If I've had some clients that have kids that are severely on the spectrum, and I've
Mhm.
drilled down exactly where to go. I've also provided tutorials on how to get your TV and your phone to link up. So I have a whole video because it is complicated. Like they make it seem easy. It's not easy.
Dumb.
You can get it to work, but if you don't know what you're doing right away. So I have tutorials on that. But
Can we rant about why it's so hard to get Disney Plus to work on that TV when
it's
other
it's
hotel
not
chains you just log in? I don't get it.
well because the app's not on your phone. You have to stream.
I know.
I can see why I would not want to log into a TV. I would rather do it on my phone.
Oh, see, we log into like hotels when they have a smart TV, but my husband is like crazy about make sure you log out of that.
Yeah,
And I'm
see,
like,
that's why I won't do it because if I forget to log out, I won't do it. So I prefer to stream and it, yeah, I prefer. But we also know good stroller rental companies. Like if
yes.
your
Mhm.
kids are older, then the Disney ones are fine. I feel like older kids,
They're never fun.
yeah,
They're
but
never
like
fun, in my
when your
opinion.
kids are
They're
like 10 and
trash.
11, they can't fit in a regular stroller.
I, I need to. I need to be. Do I want to say this? I don't think your 10 and 11-year-old needs to be in a stroller unless they have a special needs adaptive stroller that we're getting from a vendor. Um, I say 7 and down stroller.
Well, okay.
That's me.
Well,
Sorry.
regardless, though, we know the stroller vendors that provide good service, good customer support, and their strollers are good. So, same with ECVs for the grandparents, or if you broke your leg and still want to go to Disney and you want a scooter, same for the scooter stuff. So we have all that because we've been doing this for a really long time. But I think the most important thing that we provide, because all this is nice, right?
Mhm.
But you could still go to Disney without all this. The real-time support that we give our clients, right? So, I think we can all expand on this, but I always give my clients my phone number when they're in the parks, and I always say, unless I'm on a cruise, I'm available to you. And if I'm on a cruise, I have somebody in my team who's going to back me up
It's
Yeah.
me.
and help
Me.
me. So we always have real time support for our clients when they're in destination. And we've been traveling ourselves and planning vacations long enough that we can easily solve a problem. For example, I had a client, was going on a cruise, was going to get there the day before because we always tell our clients get the day before, and we love our clients that listen to us and do this. Her flight was canceled. So she's freaking out because now she's not going to arrive until day of, and we had Disney transfers set up, and I, was like it's fine as long as you get in before 1 p.m. You'll still have time to get to the boat. Her flight got in at like 10 a.m. So, it was fine. So it's my job to say, okay, take a breath. It's frustrating. I know you're stressed out, but it's still gonna work itself out. So we are I'm freaking out. It's okay.
Yes.
It's okay.
Most of the time we've seen it before. Even if it's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Even the medical
Mhm.
emergencies at the airport, we've seen them.
Mm-hmm.
Like we know how to combat that, and you might not get to your destination, but we can for sure reschedule it for later. Mhm.
Mhm.
And also, I want to add one more thing because you said grandparents. The biggest hack I can give you for traveling with small children is to make the grandparents come too.
Absolutely.
Bring the grandparents.
I'm still waiting for that.
Yeah, that would have been really helpful with the baby.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it would have. It would have been a game changer, but
But it's
maybe
but it's
one day.
okay. It's okay. We're our
Mhm.
own travel agents, but it's nice to sometimes have somebody else to
Yeah,
help you out.
pass them off. That'd be nice.
Yeah. So if you learn nothing else from today, it's that working with a travel professional is super beneficial to you because we have seen and dealt with you can't say it all because there's always going to be like this weird one-off thing, but
Mm.
most of it we've handled and dealt with and worked through. And like, I cannot say enough about having somebody on your side deal with the stressful situations or calm you down from having a total personal meltdown because things are going wrong. Like that's what we do. We hold your hand through everything, thick and thin,
Yep.
right?
We're here.
So when you're
I
ready to book
miss
your next
having a travel
vacation,
agent.
sorry, what? I talked over
I
you. I'm
said I
sorry.
miss having a travel agent. When I sat on phone with Disney Cruise Line the other day for off and on for 6 hours, I was like, once upon a time, someone else did this for me.
I know. I know. I miss having a travel agent. Being my own travel agent is exhausting.
Yeah.
It is. It is.
But when you guys are ready to book your next vacation, hit us up. All of our information is in the show notes, all of our individual bios and everything. So whoever you vibe with, we'd love to work with you. And until next time, it's going to be a recap of my Virgin Mediterranean cruise. I can't wait to tell you
I'm
guys all about
excited.
it. So make sure to tune in next time. It's going to be completely different than today. But until then, bye.
Bye.